Hey, it's Marilu and welcome to another episode of Let's Bloom podcast. This is not just any other episode. This is unlike any other episode that I've ever done. This is a necessary time to rise and talk as women, as people in this country. Still remembering that it is a safe, chilled space where not so chilled conversations happen for women by women. Today's conversation is titled Politics of the Heart, and note the art in heart. I wasn't going to do it. I wasn't going to do it until a young girl, Joshlin Smith, and I'm going to say her name again, Joshlin Smith, the young girl from Saldanha Bay in the Western Cape, was sold by her mom, okay? I wasn't going to do it, but we are talking about a beautiful young girl, right? We're talking about kidnapping. We're talking about the fact that Gayton Mckenzie made me do this, right? Made me speak about this because his activism has activated the agency in me to stand up as being a brown, a colored person of color, a colored person, and being in the creative arts. Bisa is ek nou 'n colored meisie wat 'n bietjie in Engels praat. Hulle sê ons kan nie Engels lees nie. Let's go. Stand still and see the amazing salvation of the Lord. Stand still, oh, stand still and see we have the victory. I thought I was crazy when I said that I'm not white enough, I'm not black enough, until someone else in a higher position had said it. Up until today, we have never had anyone in top leadership recognized internationally for leading this country. We know for a fact that we have had black leaders and that we have had white leaders. And I am not opposed. I am not anti-white, anti-black, because in my DNA is the entire globe. The entire globe runs through my veins. And this is something that I've said for very many people, and I have said it countless times. And I am a mesh of sadness, enraged. I feel seen, I feel celebrated, I feel all sorts, an array of emotions while I am doing this podcast. So bear with me kindly. Please remember when I say that I am not colored people for the win, but the reason why I'm doing this is that I feel lifted in my spirit because being a creative in this world where you are not seen as colored enough, because there's a thing that's not being colored enough as well. We can get into that. That's a whole nother conversation. And my experience in the art world as a creative that identifies as being colored, as well as why I am speaking about this. Let me make this very clear. On the 29th of May, I am voting for PA. My blood is green. My blood is green because that man is a mixture of being led by Christ, being led by caring about the people, and also making sure that all of the different kinds of classes, races, people who identify differently are combined, are collectively driven to living in a country that is conducive for them, where the lower class isn't overlooked, where the middle class isn't overlooked, and where whoever else falls outside of those classes are not overlooked, right? And yeah, Joshlin Smith. It's not something that we can celebrate. It feels so hard to say that. Something like this should and could have happened to make us come alive. To come alive
globally, right? That young girl is still gone. And nothing until we find her, we cannot have true celebration. But for now, I am celebrating the fact that the culprits were caught. And I don't want to get into the news and into the politics, into the this and that and that. I want to get into the core of it, that our vote counts. Who you vote for actually counts. I never cared about politics up until recently. I've always voted, but I've never really strongly felt compelled to vote. Why should I vote when I'm always looked past, when I never fit any one of the categories, when I'm trying my best, and I feel like I am invisible. And I am not the only one who feels this way. I am not the only one. And I'm saying that we have always been in this battle, except now the world is listening. We have always fought silently this battle. The ones on the outliers, the people that they don't care about, the people that the governing party doesn't care about. We've always been the outliers that have never benefited from the freedom, right? And now we feel an extra sense of freedom to even voice it out, that we do have freedom, claim that freedom, and exercise the right to vote on the 29th of May. Let's get into a little personal story, because I'm getting hyped up here. Get into a personal story. I'm in university, second year. There's a Sutu guy, third year, says to me, you know, colored people are like cars. They have no engines. They are not going anywhere. And I've had subtle comments like that for all of my life. And I've always asked myself, where do I fit in? Where is my place? Where can I find a space where I feel like there's a stream that's swimming upward? You know, there's a stream that's flowing. There is abundance for us. That's why we live from a place of scarcity and not abundance, because of what the current state of the nation is, right? Here comes along a leader, and I'm not saying that he is perfect. I am not saying that he is the answer only. I'm saying that each and every one of us plays a significant role. From every single person in the politic game, whoever is involved, whoever needs to claim positions of power, let them be the ones who have a godly nature and actually care about the people. I've always looked, as an artist said, but I don't see any production houses that are led by the colored people. I don't see where I can find, I can go there, that's where I can go to. You know, I've never felt that way. I've always seen the black people do what they do, and they get it right, and they win, and the people celebrate them, and it's this and it's that. And I'm not trying to create division. I'm clearly painting a factual picture from my personal experience. I've seen the white people do their thing, and they flourish, and they go, and they grow, and it's just a whole bit of abundance going on there. And I'm not saying that those people in those positions are also not in a position of lack. That is not what I'm saying. I'm saying that here now we can see someone standing at the precipice of being the head of a country, right? Where all of the other things are affected. The art will be affected, right? Because I know and believe that if someone at the top can let certain things trickle down into the different industries, then a change has to come. And we have to stand up and fill those positions of leadership within ourselves, within our friends, our spaces, our places, in our businesses, in our work, in every facet. The same way that we make sure that we declare and decree that we are part of the body of Christ is the same way when whilst we are living on earth, we want to live in peace. We want to live collectively. We want to get to a point where we say we all are South African people, that the division lines are closed. And this is what I see needs to happen and has been needing to happen for the longest time. I'm going to link a video of Desmond Tutu speaking about the fact that the ANC is going to be overthrown. I'm going to link another influencer, where he breaks it down and he says, if you are this, vote for them. If you are this, because everybody has the freedom to exercise their vote. Everybody has the freedom to exercise what it is that they want to do, right? But I'm going to link that in there, and I want you to have a look at that. And if you identify strongly with any one of those groups, he gives you an option and says, go for this, go for that. Because let's face it, we don't really care about politics because we don't see how it affects us. We just see how this country is being run into a pulp, in fact, a pile of nothingness. Nothingness, and we feel like our hands are cut. With student loans piling up, there's debt piling up, there's this, there's that, there's a whole bunch of crazy stuff, plus corruption, not even plus, that's at the head of the table, happening currently in this world that we are living, raising our kids, raising our future leaders, raising them. Do we want to allow them to step into those positions of power where that is the ruling force that needs to happen, that we need to pay off people, that we need to do this, we need to do that in order to get things right? Don't we want a system that flows for the people? By the people? Don't we want that? Isn't that the desire that we all want? Man, I'm going to keep on stressing this. That if, and stats-wise, let me tell you, it says that there's over 13 million voters that have not registered. Now, I've heard Gayton say that if you haven't registered, you can still sign up to work at the IEC when the voting happens. You can sign up to work at those stations, etc., etc. Do your part, basically, right? There is a large amount of unemployed people right now. In fact, the third quarter of last year was around 33 point something percentage of unemployed people. And guess who is the majority of that? The majority of that is the youth. Youth, what are we doing? Where are we seeing ourselves going? What is it that we need change in? Ask ourselves these questions. How is it that we can create a ripple effect of change? We don't need big audiences. We just need to affect the people around us to say, hello, every single thing that we do, every single thing that we struggle with, these things can be changed, but. And I feel like 2024 is that year of change. When Pastor Art Boshoff, CRC leader, CRC pastor, says that this is the year of overflow, this is the year of restoration. This is the year of change. This is the year when things are going to be shifted. And I'm not saying that it's going to be magical, but I'm saying that this is the year that things are going to shift in the direction that can benefit the people. That can benefit the people. I mean, imagine if the land reform happened in the time of the ANC. What would have happened? You know, the people who are due their land wouldn't have gotten what they needed, because there are certain factions of, and I'm saying factions because I just watched Divergent the other day, that are excluded. Can we level the playing field, please? Let me give you another story, right? I'm casted in 3 ads. Both experiences I was casted as black characters, right? I'm not black. The times where I auditioned for roles in the industry, big Netflix, Showmax, when the work eventually came out, it was either someone that could speak another language or it was a white person, right? And so, case in point, I've made an example of what I meant when I said that there are 2 streams swimming and there's a middle line. And in fact, I shouldn't even say middle line, because by middle line, I am even in my conditioning speaking to the fact that we have been placed in the middle. Like back then when they were busy doing the whole, you are this, you are that, you'd identify as that, the pencil test, all of those things. We were meant to believe that we are on the middle line, that we are not black, and we are not going to suffer like that. And those who can be white will then benefit from the whiteness, the apartheid regime's benefits, right? And then there were the leftovers, right? And I fall into the category of leftovers, because in this art world, we even have you're not colored, you're not this aesthetic of colored that we are actually looking for. Because there is, come at me and give me one example of where you have seen someone that looks like me playing a colored role, right? Just like in terms of, especially commercials. Give me an example of that. There is a specific kind of color that they're looking for. What about the 4C curl? Hey, it's not a curl, it's a kink. It's not a curl, it's a kink. What about those girls? Like, what about the ones with the really big noses like me, you know? What about the ones that's a bit dark-skinned? Like, until I open my mouth, I'm black. You know what I'm saying? Like, help me make the math because I can't get around to understanding why I'm living in a world where I am unseen and I feel restored. My hope feels restored. And that's why I feel like this podcast might even hurt my chances of getting booked or whatever. But I haven't been, because I haven't been good enough in that space. And I shouldn't say good enough as well, because that's also the idea of the fact that good enough means that I am not talented enough. I'm not honing my craft. I mean, I train with Camilla Waldman every other week that I possibly can. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? People are putting in the work. We are just not getting what we need to get. And Marlon, in the PA, in his personal capacity, also stated these things. Stated the things that I'm saying right now that I have personally experienced. I don't want to be casted as any other than what I am. I speak English and Afrikaans. I am talented enough. I am an artist. I am a singer. I am a writer. And I am not the only one. There are many of us that are here that have had to give up their dreams and become whatever it is. It's already difficult to be an artist. Already, in and of itself, it is already difficult to be an artist. So, times are coming for change. Like, it's change. It's change. Change is happening. Change, and it lives inside of all of us. And it's so wild that Joshlin Smith, did you see how that child looks like? I mean, Mckenzie even said it in one of the videos, that a child like that could pass for absolutely any ethnicity in the world. We need to come to terms with the fact that as colored people, yes, I am speaking from Port Elizabeth right now, from the South End removals, where were we thrown? Where was our parents thrown? Into hokkies, into settlements, into the northern areas, into that, where we speak about the crime and the gangsterism and the this and that, and that's all that the headlines usually make. This child has the blood of the world. The globe runs through her veins. The globe runs through the colored people's veins. And we are here, and we are going to be seen, and we are seen, and we are not going anywhere. We are going to stand in our power, as you have seen how people have stood in their power in the Western Cape, how they have fought, and how spicy their personalities are, and how beautiful, how textured their beingness is, how multifaceted their existence is, how they look so different. You know, as colored people, we have had to embrace that title, and we have made something of it. And it is recognized amongst us, and it will be and will continue to be and is recognized across the lands of this globe. In the art world, there are very many opportunities that's happening right now. I've posted them on my social media pages. I did a live and I shared everything that was shared. I'm not saying everybody is bad. I'm not saying that they're only good and bad. I'm not saying any of those things. I'm just making that my opinion very clear, very plain and simple, right? I've shared those resources where you can go ahead and get those projects funded. Because another thing is, we move from a place of scarcity and we're not moving from a place of abundance like Christ teaches us, right? So go ahead, have at that, fill out those forms, do the work, right? And then the other thing is, I'm thinking, there's so many things happening in the theatre, dance, art, all of that. That is petitions, forms to sign. You know, there's a current bill that we are trying to stop. Please read about it. I'm going to link it. It's with TADA. I'm going to link it in the description. There are so many things that we can get involved in where we can actually activate ourselves. I'm not going to call myself an activist. This is not activism work. This is what people need to be doing kind of work. This is the level of consciousness that we need to carry, that people need to, in their everyday lives, need to move, be, breathe as. And I say this in faith. Gayton Mckenzie, Mr. Gayton Mckenzie, my future president, thank you so much for letting us feel seen. It is not a brain teaser to even think about the fact that when a child goes missing, there's no time to wait. We understand that there's levels of incompetence, but thank you for stepping in, and thank you for allowing that this situation, that you didn't lead from a place of politics, you made it from your heart, you made it from God, you made it so that we can be restored in hope all over the world, all over the land, all over this country. In the Western Cape, you have activated something that has been dormant for years. And so you've activated me, and I thank you for that, because I will stand in all the capacities that I possibly can stand, and I will continue, that this conversation doesn't end here, that it keeps on continuing. For those of you who aren't registered to vote, for those of you who are going to vote, make an informed decision that speaks to your heart. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Politics of the Heart. Don't forget the art, okay? Oh yeah, one last thing. My bloed is groen. My bloed is groen. Ons by Zanny. Like I said, I wasn't gonna do it. I wasn't going to do it. Now, before I leave, I'm going to leave you with just one or two questions, right? I wasn't going to do it, but a young girl is involved. Christianity is involved. Leadership is involved, right? Politics is involved. Things that affect us are involved. And the wild part is the people that are living, like for instance, my living conditions are extremely bearable. So why should I even care about what's happening outside? But it's time for that empathy, for that sympathy, for that to awaken in us, for that consciousness to awaken in us. It is time for us to wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Your kids' future is on the line here. Your kids' future, what you do is a ripple effect of what happens generations to come. He says, Mckenzie was saying that he's not talking about 2024. He is talking about change for the rest of South Africa moving forward, right? So, like I said, I wasn't going to do it. I had to do it. I was compelled to do it. I felt led to do it, and I did it. Thank you for listening to this podcast. I'm going to leave you with these two questions, okay? So here are my questions. Is it not time for us to do good for our future kids and their kids and their kids in the different industries and spaces, churches, all over, in all spectrums of life? Make informed, godly decisions. Is it not time for us to think about that in our daily being? And then secondly, if you are living with a shelter, a toilet in your house, with food on your table, etc., etc., is it not time for you to wake up to the fact that after years of democracy, there are people who have to go to their restroom in a bucket, in a shack somewhere on the plains where the wind and where the nature has no regard for what happens to those people? Is it not time for us to care about our fellow man in this country and make those decisions that are informed? Like I say in every single podcast, stay kind to your mind. Stay soft with yourself. It's been a very tough talk for me. It has made me think, and it has made me think long, hard. And I hope that it echoes, something in this podcast echoes in you to go out there and make a change. Thank you so much for listening. Until the next episode, bye-bye.